Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. This is the video version of our meeting on February 8th, if you're unable to attend or if we have it or not. So please contact me if you have any questions. It'll be linked down here in the lower right-hand corner too. Okay, today we're going to talk about summative assessments. So guess what I'm going to show you first? I always show the same thing first. Okay, as you know, everything can be found on this website. Everything about Atlas, including these slides. They can always be found here where it says Atlas Tuesday slides if you want to go back and take a look. Okay, so again, strategic plan wise, 21-22, we are talking about summative assessments. This is something we started in 1920. We paused and now we're back to. So how do we apply that definition to our existing summative assessments? Okay, you'll find on the expectations document, it says right here, stage 2 summative assessments. In every unit, upload or share drive link an updated summative assessment that matches our definition. Now, this is going to depend. Maybe what you have there already matches our definition. We'll find out. Okay, as you know, the definition came when it was published in this PDF. This can also be found on the Curriculum Office Google site. Down here. And here we go. Here's the definition, but let's just go to the summative assessment part. We believe summative assessments are cumulative student performances. We believe authentic performances are application and/or transfer tasks. But I put another note down here at the bottom, and I think that note is kind of important. What it says also down here is that when we're talking about summative assessments, I think it's important to understand and recall and always keep in mind that, yeah, they're cumulative at the end of a unit, yes. But in a macro way, they're kind of formative towards the year-end goal of they've finished this course. Even more macro, they're formative in the sense that they're always leading up to a lifelong learner. So keep that in mind. We are improving our summative assessments this way because we believe that these aspects of our definition help scholars learn by giving us better understandings of where they are at that time and what they are communicating to us at that time. We want everyone to be better informed. We want to find a way to do what we believe. We want to do better at walking the talk. So again, our summative assessments, they're not just like that check at the end. Yes, they are at the end of that unit, but also we have to think about what does that experience do for the students? Does it help them grow? Does it help them learn more? And so that's part of the definition too. And that's part of the why this is important. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Well, part of the why is that this matches our beliefs for how to enhance their learning short-term and long-term. Okay, so here we go. Here's the definition, broken down, deconstructed into pieces. We believe summative assessments are cumulative student performances. So just like we did with formative assessments, let's pick the keywords and define them in a very simple manner and an uncomplicated manner. Okay, cumulative. So criteria 1 for a great summative assessment for our definition. Is this summative assessment cumulative? Does it assess the taught standards of the unit? I think that's an easy yes for everybody. The challenging word here, or the word that you must have flexibility with, is the taught standards, meaning that as we teach a unit, we might have a lot of things that we try to do and we think we're going to do, and we do try, or maybe we don't even get to. And then we have our tests at the end, and maybe it's made already. The point is that test at the end, that summative assessment, it needs to be in a format that you, as the teacher that school year, can be flexible with it and pull questions out of it if you didn't get to it. I never really taught that one. We ran out of time. I tried to teach it, but my teaching that day was off. It was flawed. So in a way, reflectively, to be honest, I don't think I really taught that well. So it comes off the test. So I think that's an important aspect of what makes a good summative assessment. Yes, it's cumulative, but it really assesses the taught standards of the unit. I should probably put that in parentheses. Not parentheses, air quotes, quotations. Okay, the next part, and there's more to this one because I think that first one's kind of easy. We believe authentic performances are application and or transfer tasks. Okay, more words there. This first word, authentic. So, does your summative assessment include direct, real-world relevant scenarios? Or are they just cold math questions? What's 1 + 1? Okay, next part, performances. Does your summative assessment require the students to demonstrate the action? Does it require the students to perform a situational process? Next one, application or transfer. Does your summative assessment require the students to use their learning in a new situation? The important word here is novel. Novel meaning new. So if you keep talking about my math problem and it's at the train station, the test question at the end would be the bus station instead. So it's not the same thing over and over again. Okay. Consider these the criteria for what's going to make a good summative assessment. Okay. Here's another way to look at it. Let's check out this table. How would you assess your summative assessments? Which box would you put them in? Think about it. Reflect. Be honest. I would say a lot of ours, at least one question on a test, are fake real. I might have a math test and questions 1 through 10 are just arithmetic. So that's fake, but that's okay. But maybe the last question of my math test, you gotta imagine a scenario. You have to apply it to a scenario. So that's what we would call fake real. This one, the orange box right there. Okay. What we're shooting for with our definition is the blue one. The real performance. Sometimes that's just really just adding a purpose or audience to it. Okay, so let's say you have create a new design for a cereal box. All you have to do really is imaginary. It could be imaginary. Create the audience for that. The assessor of that is not just me, the teacher, but it's me and some peer assessment, and we're pretending to be the CEO of the cereal box company. So you've added a purpose or audience to it. Okay, I think a really good way to approach it is using these acronyms. One of the acronyms is called GRASS by the UPD authors. So if you take one of your test questions and you assign it a goal, a role, an audience, a situation, what the product or performance would be, and then just make sure you know what standard it's assessing. That would be a GRASS version. Another version, RAFs, a role, audience, format, topic, and what's the strong message or in the enduring understanding that's learned. That's another acronym you can use. So for your summative assessments to match the criteria for the definition, for your summative assessments to be this blue box, we highly recommend you use one of these acronyms. Okay, so this is the final slide. So what's really due, Paul? Okay, here are the necessary aspects or the criteria. Your summative assessments need to be cumulative, authentic, performances, and require application and transfer. We recommend using this template. Okay, Paul, how much? You mean my whole test? Okay, here's the middle school requirement. Remember, we talked about this when we talked about formative assessments, that this challenge for us is we talk a big game. We're very progressive in our heart. But when it comes down to test day, do we really walk the talk? Half of the score for all summative assessments must fit this definition. When? Starting next year. But for checkout this school year, that's what should be in Atlas. So you can make them for the units that you haven't done yet from now till the end of the year. But for the units you already have done this school year, you can draft ideas that this is what I would use or I will use next school year. Are those drafts going to be massively imperfect because you haven't done it yet? Yeah, that's okay. But at least you have them ready. Okay, so what I would do is I would go to each summative assessment that you have already. Okay, now chances are, let's say it's a math test, chances are already one of those math questions, maybe the word problem at the end, almost fits this definition. So what I would do is I would take that word problem at the end and I would fill it into a GRASS template. And you can make a Google Doc for that and link it via the shared drive, or you could just use a Word doc and upload it. And then it's important next school year when you're calculating in your grade book, and this is a big deal, your final grade score for that summative assessment, that would make up 50% or half of that score. Wow, Paul, that's a lot because it used to be just 10% because it was one of 10 questions or one of 100 questions, you know, depending on what you already have. And my answer to that is yes, it is a big deal. Yes, it really is putting our beliefs into practice. Yes, it really is declaratively significant in that we're saying this is what we believe a good summative assessment is. And if that's really our belief, then we're okay really doing it with at least half the score, because we believe this really demonstrates to us that they've learned. If you have more questions, talk to me. Let's use the rest of the time today to try one, work on it. What I do is take your Unit 1 test, find that question on the test that's closest to this, take the GRASS template, maybe make a Word doc or a Google Doc, and try filling one out using the acronym. And then upload it to Atlas right under your existing test or summative assessment. And then just remember in the fall to score that half the test. Yeah, it's a big deal. But again, this is us walking the talk, doing what we really say we believe. You know, it's kind of like in the auditorium, Robert was saying about looking at scores or looking at results. where he could get a sense of their learning from just a couple questions because he knew those were the most important ones. So this is going to be a very, very important one in that summative assessment. Okay, thank you. And if you're watching this video version for review, or if you're watching this video version because you weren't able to join us live or we couldn't, again, always, always, always ask me. Okay, I can visit you, I can Zoom with you per your convenience. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.